going to another part of Miss G's talking about tuning on different instruments. The first thing you see is this right here. This is my Tonal Energy app. Don't let it freak you out. I just have it going in the background because you'll get to see it when I'm tuning instruments. I like it because it has happy faces and weird faces when you're really out of tune. And it has a metronome and stuff built in. It does cost a couple dollars. There are plenty of free versions of tuners in app stores if you have a smartphone or an iPad. My students have a subscription to Smart Music. There's tuners built into that too. You may be asking, why do I need to tune, Miss G? Like, what? I've never done that before, so why does it matter now? Well, you might be playing the right note, but if your instrument is too long or too short, it's going to sound like you're playing the wrong note. So if you're doing something like Smart Music, you're like, I played an F, but it thinks I'm playing a G. Well, your instrument might be too short. If you're sitting next to another trumpet player and you're like, we're both playing C, but it doesn't sound like the same note, that could be that one or both of you are out of tune. So how do we fix that so that our instrument, when it's set up with a bass sort of note, is in tune? On trumpet, the first thing is, part of good trumpet hygiene maintenance, is that our movable slides actually are movable. And I know this is something that not a lot of people... So for example, my slide down here, see that it slides in and out and it goes pretty easily. That's easier with my other hand, I'm not gonna lie. There we go. So my bottom slide moves. More importantly, this slide, my tuning slide moves. And that's one that, like, if your instrument, your tuning slide is super stuck, you may need to take it into the store so that it gets a nice deep cleaning and a good reset to get that tuning slide moving. Every now and then I do recommend use some tuning slide grease, like mine could use some right now, so that way you keep that slide as something that can move freely on your trumpet, okay? If your trumpet's been stuck like this since 1999, firstly, that's older than you, if my students are watching this. Secondly, like, you should take it in so that way you can get that fixed. Okay, that's the end of that spiel. But this is our tuning slide that we use to mainly tune our instrument, right? And what I mean by that is, if it's pushed all the way in, right now mine is all the way in on my instrument, as far in as it'll go, and I play a C. Notice that it's at the top of that, meaning it's super sharp. Means it's almost so sharp that it thinks it's a C sharp. And that's not gonna, that's not the note I'm looking for, right? So how do I fix that? I gotta make my instrument a little bit longer. So I'm gonna pull that tuning slide out a bit. I'm still pretty sharp. I gotta pull out a little bit more. I'm just a smidge sharp now, right? I'm a little bit above it, not as bad. Now I'm at the bottom, I'm a little bit flat, right? So I need to push in. I also need to make sure I'm using a little bit better supported air for that. Oh. Still pretty flat, right? So there's some kind of an in-between of me playing back and forth with this tuning slide. Oh, I'm almost spot on, right? It wants to go to the little happy face. It wants to be right in between that, right? And there's some fine tuning to go on. Ooh, oof. Thought I'd be in tune faster. There it was, right? So we held that C and I had it mostly until I kind of took my air off the instrument. But I got that C in tune. If you notice, look how far out I had to pull out on my trumpet for that to be in tune for today. It does change day to day. It depends how cold, how hot, how warmed up you are. Like, I just went into this cold, and that makes it not a good example. It's better for you to play a scale or two, get your instrument warmed up, and then go into tune. So that way your instrument is already like, oh, okay, so we're doing stuff. Right? We don't just go into running without stretching. Same thing. We got to, like, stretch a little bit and then go into this when we're playing our instrument. But hopefully that walked you through, like, that's what that slide actually does. So that way, when that C is in tune, that means all our other notes, theoretically, are kind of in tune. There's a more complicated video where I can talk about this slide that helps get notes that use the third valve, because sometimes that makes stuff out of tune for us, but that's for a different day, right? For now, using that main tuning slide to get you in tune is going to be the way to go. Hopefully that helps.